The following changes have occurred over the past 24 hours. Fighting continues in the Konstantinowski area. Russian troops are pressing in from the east and south. During the offensive operations, the control zone was expanded from the eastern side, entering Novodmitrovka. Despite the construction of footholds, the enemy cannot maintain flank cover. In the city, Russian drones continue to continuously hover over the main logistics route, Druzhkovka, Konstantinovka. In this example, the Ukrainian armed forces, having noticed the flying threat in time, managed to leave the passenger transport. The operator eliminated him with 2 FPV drones. The military is preventing the rotation, as well as delivering reinforcements. In addition to controlling logistics, drone operators identify and destroy everything related to the armed forces of Ukraine. An immobile armored car was found slightly to the north and west. The operators destroyed it with 2 drones. Subsequently, a reconnaissance was conducted by another drone. The camera shows Gorenje, but it is most likely the temporary location of the enemy, as this piece of equipment was destroyed closer. You can't see her in the picture. Enemy damage is still mostly recorded in the western half of the city. To the south, the Guards are also systematically squeezing the Ukrainian forces. 2 assault groups of the 78th Regiment work to the west in Anapa. First, the Russian cameraman showed the 2 dead near their dugout. The Russian combat group was nearby. The other 2 tried to run away with a rush. The third was immediately eliminated with small arms. The 4th managed to temporarily leave the danger zone. Moreover, he headed towards zero. There was also a fortification under their control. Another assault group cleared out the man hiding in the second dugout. Considering the above, the position of the Russian side improved slightly to the marked points. To the south, the working process of knocking the enemy out of the coast of the Klebanbek reservoir does not stop. The offensive wars have moved forward. There are also changes to the west of the artificial reservoir. The fighters expanded the controlled territory following the move to Velinovka and Berestov. They are conducting assault operations in order to liberate these points. Russian troops are remotely mining roads so that the enemy cannot launch successful counterattacks. There is still active fighting in the Dobropolski area. In the area of Suvorov, the Marines broke down the enemy's defenses after entering that village. Eventually, in the process of liquidation of the armed forces of Ukraine, this point was liberated. According to our own data, the enemy was knocked out on January 7th. It is possible that the Ukrainian forces will counterattack in order to regain their lost position. The Russian military is systematically leveling the front line in a positive direction, right up to the railway. This will allow us to further develop the offensive without the threat of flanking Ukrainian attacks. The infantry is actively supported by Russian aviation. A control point for unmanned vehicles was identified on the territory of the Belitskaya mine. The pilots destroyed it with 4 FAB-500s and also covered the Ukrainian forces in the form of the 14th Operational Brigade. The SU uses any industrial facility as a support. In the Guliapolski sector of the front, a division of the Vostok Group is developing an offensive. In the area of the green motorized infantry of the 394th Regiment moved forward decisively, as a result of which they liberated the green and came close to Sviatopetrovka. In the center of the village, a soldier from Primorie unfurled the Russian flag and showed control of the territory. The enemy conducted 5 counterattacks to regain lost positions. The fighters, having eliminated the reserves of manpower, stopped their intentions. The soldiers advanced in the lowlands, where they were later able to cling to a part of the hill near St. Petrovka. In addition to this point, the far eastern warriors approached a small part of Zaleznichny. There is one street with houses, a school and a boarding school. South of the walking field, the pilots continue to intensively process the shipments on the territory of the pig farm and in nearby forest plantations. An example of hitting a tree with 4 FABs in a forest belt is shown. In the same footage, the other 4 bombs hit the enemy in the farm. The Guards themselves completely cleared the territory of the eastern road in the clashes. Drozhenyanka walk the field and then advance in a westerly direction. Southwestern soldiers of the 58th Army are fighting on the outskirts of Oricov to advance further. The infantry is assisted by jet fighters. Yesterday, the Russian side published a video in which Rachongrad shells the positions of the Ukrainian forces. They were located in the center and on the southern outskirts of Malaya Tokmachka. Earlier in mid-October, a Russian armored vehicle unit carried out an attack, where the approach was carried out through a forest line perpendicular to the point. The enemy is also conducting attacks to maintain cover on the approaches to Oricov. Russian troops continue to hit Ukrainian military installations. Last night, up to 400 weapons were used. In Kiev, the damage occurred under the thermal power plant, TPP-4, TPP-5, and TPP-6. Ballistic missiles, Kalibr cruise missiles, and attack drones were used. The defense industry, Antonov and MASH special defense companies also suffered. During the entire time of the special military operation, the Oreshnik medium-range ballistic missile was used for the second time, the last time at Dnepropetrovsk Izhmash. This time at the largest gas storage facility in Europe, which is located underground in the Lviv region. At a depth of 690 meters, the shooting spread online. Additional information from satellite images may provide a result of the impact's effectiveness. The day before last, the event related to the seizure of the tanker Mariner was highlighted. Later, additional information appeared. At the time of the seizure of the vessel, it was legally Russian, but in fact remained Turkish. The entry into the Maritime Register of Shipping was an attempt to make the Americans doubt the operation to seize the tanker. In fact, the Russian side lost only a possible commission percentage for covering the Turkish vessel. The ship itself has been towed to one of the British ports, after which it will proceed to the American Gulf port. There were at least 2 Russians among the crew members. Due to the active actions of the Russian Foreign Ministry, they were released. The fighting continues.